All right, so this is completely bonkers. According to some new data and some new studies, smoking cigarettes, yeah, it's back in New York City. Let's look at some info. From 2002 to 2010, smoking among adult New Yorkers decreased 35%. That's a lot, from 22% of the population to 14%. And that was the lowest recorded rate. In 2013, the smoking rate rose to 16%. And for the first time ever since 2007, there are 1 million smokers in New York City. Now, interestingly, New York City has one of the highest tax rates on cigarettes. It's about $4.35 a pack. People are saying that maybe because of budget cuts, we're not doing, or New York City is not doing as many anti-smoking ads, and then that causes more people to smoke. So let's just start this with the personal stuff. Did you guys ever smoke?
I smoked 2 packs a day for 16 years.
Wow. And do you not smoke anymore?
I quit smoking cigarettes about 20 years ago.
Okay.
Cigars.
Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And occasions, babies,
yeah.
buddies with, you know, they're all, they're kids. That's all
Smoke
grandchildren now.
Yeah.
I'm smoking cigars for grandchildren now at my
man.
age. Oh,
what's
geez.
after that? What's the next one?
Great grandchildren. That's when they have to stick the cigar in the respirator and just watch the valve fill up with smoke in my chamber. Thanks.
Yeah. Look, we obviously know you like that one. You like that one. Look, we know that smoking is no good for you. Everyone knows it. So I don't necessarily buy the idea that because of ads somehow not being run, that people are starting to smoke again. What do you make of it? Like, is this some way that people are sort of taking back power? I always think it's something like that. You know, like so they can exercise some control in their lives when there's a lot of stressful shit out there, and you can.
They're in a depression.
Yeah.
We're in a depression. We're calling it a recession. We're in a depression. It's harder to pay for everything, and people need to act like they're cool so that I think a lot of people think, well, if I walk into a work setting looking stressed, they won't want to work with me. So I have to look cool. I have to go outside, do a thing and make me look cool when I walk back in.
Yeah. I also think there's a level of nihilism at work right now in the national zeitgeist. I think it's finally sunk in that global warming is an issue, that pandemic is likely at any moment, and there's the real feeling that we might be seeing some sort of an end to civilization as we know it. And why am I denying myself this minor pleasure over a few dollars tax when in fact the polar bears are gone? Yeah. You know, the Arctic ice is melting, and I'm worried about lung cancer I might get in 40 years.
Right. How much of that do you think is actually conscious with people? Because I do think about that stuff, but then I'm like, you know, people always thought the world was going to end, and shit was always happening, and there were always wars and disease.
Yeah, no, I think there's a real feeling of it now that may or may not be true, but I think it's filtered into, and it may not be conscious. People aren't driving to work going, why am I going to work? The world's coming to an end. But I think at some level underneath, there's this feeling of, geez, I might actually live to see how all this works out. Yeah. You know, and what do you do with that information?
Right. Then you really need a cigarette if you know you're going to live.
My whole thing is watching to see how this comes out. Yeah. Man, I'm in the fight. I want to see what happens next.
There are nights that's the only thing that keeps me from killing myself. I want to see how this ends.
Let's see.
Yeah. There's too many graves yet to piss on for me to go anywhere.
My parents, on the other hand, have been smoking 2 packs a day each since they were in their teens. They are now both in their mid to late 70s, and they will not die.
Yeah. Patience, you'll see how it all turns out. All right. Do we need to get off the cigarette? You know, look, everyone knows cigarettes are bad for you, but we do plenty of shit that's bad for you, and alcohol's illegal. For some reason, weed isn't, and we know that weed isn't bad for you, basically. So do we need to just get off the anti-cigarette ban and just let people do what they want to do? I mean, that's my general thing. Even with harder drugs, I mean, I think we should basically be legalizing these things, and we shouldn't be putting all these people in jail for doing recreational stuff.
There's e-cigarettes. A lot of people are now smoking the little lights lighting up on the little Rudolph red noses in the night, you know.
Yeah. If you have LED lights flashing on your face, you should be either having a conversation over a Bluetooth or joining the Borg Collective. That's just how I feel about it.
All right, last thought on this. Is there something about living in New York City, maybe, that this is specific to, where the smoking rates in the rest of the country are dropping? But part of being in New York City is just being like, fuck you to everything, and I'm gonna live through this, the fucking noise and the smells and the sweat and the angry people. So it's like, I'm gonna smoke, and it sort of goes to your point a little bit earlier, but I'm just gonna do what I gotta to do to get through the day.
It's possible that even with the smoke in New York, you're actually getting better filtered air that way.
It cuts down the pee smell.
Yeah,
Takes the edge off.
You know, I went back to New York City where I used to live a couple weeks ago, and the corner, I haven't been back in about a year and a half, the corner that I lived on always smelled like a certain type of pee, and that smell was still there a year and a half later. That's not right.